your last bar was "Go to war for that dick like on Mulan." And so I heard that, right? Go to
Yeah.
war for that dick like on Mulan. I'm like, like what's Mulan about? What was? Oh shit, she went to war for the dick. Like it was.
Yeah.
Bitch is not relevant. Look at the evidence. I should be president, but like Letterman's. Look at the residence.
You're watching Loud Music Only. I'm your host, AT Bianco, and today I'm very excited to introduce our guest, who is so much fun to listen to. She's out of Fort Myers, Florida, and she's bringing this new energy to music that I just love. And she goes by the name of Cherele. Cherele, how are you today?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing good. Yeah.
So thank you for being here and everything. What's life looking like for you right now? Are you super busy? Just run me through that.
Yeah, right now I'm just busy working on my next project. So just been making content and yeah, finalizing mixes and mastering. So yeah, it's a little busy, a little hectic.
That's cool. That's cool. It's all a part of the process, though. So you're gearing up for your next project. Like, what's your mindset going from project to project? I know we'll get into talking about Nostalgia is Dead, which I loved.
Thank you.
So what's it like for you right now? Like, what creative space are you in?
Honestly, right now I'm just trying to have fun. Like I'm really like at a point in my life where I'm just trying to enjoy every moment. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just like into my little hobbies and like going out and having fun. And that's my mindset right now. I don't really have like Nostalgia is Dead was way more intricate and like intentional. This I just kind of wanted to just go with the flow.
Do you find like a lot of your inspiration when you're in like the studio or just maybe writing creatively? Like, do you find a lot of your inspiration comes from like having fun in everyday life, like going out? Like, run me through that. Like, what does Cherele do for fun that inspires her?
I'm a nerd to be honest. Like bro, I'm a hip hop nerd. Like I just got into like bicycling, like cycling and stuff like that. Yeah, I like streetwear. So I just like go out. But yeah, definitely just day to day will inspire me. Just my life. So when I'm recording, if there's like a beat or something, it might remind me of something or a moment and I try to like capture that.
You said you're a little bit of a nerd when it comes to hip hop and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
also a hip hop nerd, but just a music nerd in general. And
Yeah.
I think all of us have a little bit of nerd in us, which is good. So what are some things about hip hop? Are there some artists that you totally fan out over?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm a huge Pharrell fan. Kanye, like just that era. Like Timbaland, those are Missy Elliott. Like those people are like high in my rank.
I was actually kind of waiting for you to say Missy Elliott because when
Yeah,
I do not like to compare artists to others or whatever, right? But your beats that especially on Nostalgia is Dead, you captured this like nostalgic feeling, which is fitting for the title. That reminded me a lot of like Super Duper Fly from Missy Elliott. So talk about like her influence as a dominant female force in rap music. Like, what was that like for you growing up watching
yeah.
that?
She was really huge when I was a kid, and I just loved her because she was so creative. Like her videos, especially, were just intense. Like they were so different than anything I've ever seen. So, and then the beats were just amazing. Like all of her music is still timeless. Like you could bump a Missy song right now, and one of my favorites is actually Hot Boys. I just love that beat. I love everything about it. The video was amazing too. She had Nas in there for the remix and stuff like that. So like she's just so creative. She's a creative genius to me. And she didn't care at all. And I just loved that about it. So I was just instantly hooked as a kid. And yeah, she's impacted me a lot.
Yeah, her videos are something that I know, waking up in the morning, maybe before school or something, watching like MTV videos. I always sat and like paid attention to hers because you really never knew like what was gonna come next.
Yeah,
Whether she was in like this big like kind of costume with like the fisheye lens and like her face is all up like she's so much fun to listen to, and she just like encapsulates that vibe, and that's what kind of drew me towards you because you're a very fun artist to listen to.
thank you.
And as a, of course, and as a fan here, I was listening to Nostalgia is Dead, and it's just like one of those albums, but also you have songs on there that just make you want to dance and kind of act like a little bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
I'll paint the picture a little bit for you. So last summer I was introduced to your music randomly. I was mowing my lawn and I was on Spotify Shuffle or whatever. Sometimes I do that when I'm trying to listen to some new music I've never heard before. I'm like mowing my lawn and HOL'UP comes on. And I was like, "Oh my god, this shit is just hard." Like I don't even know what it was about it. I think a combination of the beat and then how you just hopped on it. So talk about how that song came to life. I know it was like one of the lead singles or the lead single
Mhm.
to that album. Talk about like the vibe that you created with that song and the people that you collaborated on it with.
Yeah, so it's produced by Pete Rango. Pete Rango has produced about like 80% of my music ever. Like he's one of my best friends, so we've been making music for a while. And he knows I just love like 808s and like bouncy type of vibes. And as soon as he made that, it was over with. I told him like not to add too much to it. I wanted it really like minimal. I like to do that sometimes and just focus more on the flow than anything, kind of use your flow as another instrument. So that was my go-to with that. I was like, I want like my flow to be a part of it, a big part of it, to make it feel fun. And then I'm a really big fan of Michael Aristotle. He's out of Atlanta. He actually works with Missy Elliott. He's a writer for Missy Elliott.
Oh,
So that
very cool.
yeah, so I just like I love how he raps, period. So I was trying to get him on a song anyways. And as soon as I made that song, I heard him on it and I was like, hey man, like I need you on this. And like he got it done in like a day or two or something like that. And yeah, it went up from there.
You guys had some crazy chemistry on that too. Like, I mean, your verse and like back and forth with him, like he just hopped on it, and I don't know, it was almost like that. I would just want that beat to continue for like 10 minutes, and I would hear you. I would
Oh,
love to
I
just.
love that beat. Yeah, it's a really great beat.
It's
Yeah.
just it's crazy. It's crazy. So let's get into how long you've been making music, what it was like kind of growing up in Florida, maybe the Florida music scene influences on you. Talk about that.
Yeah, I've been making music my whole life, to be honest. My mom put me into music lessons of piano like really early when I was 3 years old. And I don't know, since I can remember, I've been writing poetry, music, stories. I just was like a writing nerd and I like to read a lot and I loved music. So growing up from Fort Myers is like a pretty small town in Florida. So like I didn't have nothing out there. I remember we had our first radio station when I was like 10 years old, hip hop radio station. Like we just had like top 40s, you know? So, like my dad and my sister, my brothers, like they really like put me on to like different music, especially in the Florida scene. So it's like, of course, Trina, like Trick Daddy was huge. JT Money, Plies is from my same city as me too. So like he definitely
Oh,
coming up.
Plies is from
Yeah,
Fort Myers.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. I did not know that. You learn something new every day.
Yeah. So it's just like it's a smaller town, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, me watching TV and stuff like that was like huge for me to see music videos and things that were like bigger and broader from what my little perspective of was in that town. So like I said, I started getting hooked on like Missy, just music videos, MTV, to be honest. Like that was like my little outlet to see what was in the world. And then when I started traveling as I got older too, you know what I'm saying? Then I got more perspective of music in itself. But yeah.
Talk about as an artist, kind of getting accustomed. You mentioned when we first got on this call was like you're making content and you're stockpiling content to push new music and stuff like that. Talk about that grind because I understand that grind and
Mhm.
sometimes it's a little bit draining. So how do you maneuver that space?
It is a little draining. I think my technique right now is to like when I'm in the zone of creating that type of content to just knock as much possible like in that space and then kind of just be able to move on with my life. Because it's not fun all the time, to be honest, to only focus on content because obviously I make music, you know what I mean? So I want to focus on that, but it's just necessary. So yeah, when I'm in the mode of like creating content and stuff like that, I just try to do as many as possible, as many little TikToks or as many whatever I can do, pictures and reels and stuff like that. So yeah.
So a lot of the videos that you make, I saw a few of them both on TikTok and Instagram, like freestyle type videos, maybe a minute long. What's your process creating those? Do you find a beat you like or have a beat that someone sends you, or maybe you make them your own yourself? And do you just kind of record that 1 minute and then make a video from it?
Yeah, like all of the above. I'll like browse. Sometimes I'll just go on YouTube and like just get into like the little holes of like older songs maybe that I forgot about. And I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this beat or something like that. And then yeah, I do make sure it's under like a minute. So I want it, I'm doing it intentionally like that. So yeah, I'll just write some stuff to it. That's like my fun to me. Like just to, just to like browse things and be like, oh, I want to hop on this. Like that's just fun to me. So that's how I basically attack that.
What about creating, whether it's making content or writing a short story? Like, what about creating like gets you, I don't know, excited or like keeps you coming back for more? Because there's that little bit of it's like adrenaline rush or addicting to see something come to life. Talk about how that makes you feel.
I'm really addicted to that lightning strike of an idea.
Mm,
Like, and the thing about the lightning strike is sometimes it's very unpredictable. You could be driving, you could be doing anything, taking a shower, and then all of a sudden, like this idea comes to you. I'm so addicted to that, and following that lightning strike and like putting it into a bottle, capturing that lightning strike. Like to me, that's so much fun. But it is a little bit unpredictable. There's certain factors, like I said, like I try to keep myself active and do like certain hobbies and stuff, but nothing, sometimes it'll just come out of nowhere, and a song will come out of nowhere. Like sometimes I'll just get like a funny line or a bar, and then I just form a whole song around that, and that to me is so much fun. That's addictive to me. Yeah.
what's the weirdest place you've like ever been and you're like, oh shit, I have an idea? Like, walk me through that because it's funny how ideas come to life like that.
I feel like the weirdest place I always get ideas is in the bathroom or in the shower. Like, I don't know, maybe it's the water or something. Like I'm always getting an idea in the shower or a bar in the shower. Cause sometimes I'll just like be rapping in the shower and I'll just get a funny ass bar and I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta like immediately when I get out, I have to like record it on my phone or write it down or something like that.
Right. So do you put on like concerts in the shower? Because I know when I'm in the shower, like sometimes I don't care who's around. Like sometimes I'll just start singing because it's
Yeah,
it's it's almost therapeutic. You know what I mean? As far as when you're writing a song, whether it starts in the shower, or it starts on a piece of paper, or just in your mind, are you driven more by the melody in which it's presented or the lyrics in which you write?
ooh, it depends, man. Sometimes it's definitely the melody. Sometimes I don't even have a lot of my songs actually start off as just flows. I really like to play with flows and hear the beat. So I won't have any lyrics. A lot of times my demos, like if Peter will know that too, like my producer, like I can send a demo and it's just me mumbling and I'm like, oh, that's the flow. And then I'll just put in the lyrics. But then there are some times where I'll get a bar or something like that, and I'm like, I have to. But I really like focusing on flow more than anything, because that makes it fun, and I like to be in different pockets on the beat.
Yeah, that's very evident now that you say that. And that's one of the notes I had written down here is like, it's very impressive how you could switch up your flows with a different type of beat, slow it down, speed it up, and you're sitting in those different pockets. And you see that with a lot of artists who are very melody driven, maybe not so lyric driven, but like a flow is kind of like a melody in a sense because it
Yeah,
just like starts the whole pace of the song. So, I mean, I would even listen to your demos when they're just mumbling because when you're rapping, I don't know, it's just like the way the tone of your voice sounds on a beat, literally any beat, it's just like it floats along there.
yeah,
So do you just like, I don't know, get in the booth, close your eyes and just start, I don't know, dancing and rhyming
yeah.
or whatever?
No, I freestyle melodies like or flows like instantly. That's how I actually start to write. Well, I'll just like turn on the beat and then I'll just freestyle some melodies and then from there I'll pick the flows and I'm like, oh, that could be the hook. This could be the verse. This could be the second verse. This could be like a part of the verse. Somebody who I really admire that always switched up their flows and stuff like that was Lil Wayne. And like I
Mm.
always like it didn't matter what beat he had or like what region it was from, like he could find a pocket and like I really admire that. Black Thought too from the Roots is
Ooh.
really good
Two
at
of the
finding.
greatest right there.
Yeah, yeah. So those are people I really admire about that. And yeah, I try my best to just like start with that with the flows because I think it's really important. It makes the song fun, you know what I mean? Like you want it to stick, But lyrics are also very important. I'm a writer as well, but I think the flow to me is like number one.
One of my favorite freestyles of yours, or just bars in general, was your Mulan freestyle.
Oh yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
That video is hard. Like, it's just simple to the point. Got a green screen behind you, and you're just spitting. And my just like the way you end it, you said something like, Rick James fucking up your couch, and then your last bar was, I gotta find it. Your last bar was, go to war for that dick like I'm Mulan.
I'm Rick James fucking up your futon. Boy, it sound like a tight beat found on Groupon. No, I'm big business on me and me a suit on. Bitch, I go to war for that dick like I'm Mulan. What you want?
So I heard that, right? Go to war for that dick like I'm Mulan. I'm like, like what's Mulan about? What was? Oh shit, she went to war for the dick. Like, it was, and then, so that's why I love it. And it was like, I don't know, I was just amazed by it. So how do you come up with that bar? Did you write all of that, or was it just like a straight freestyle off the top?
No, I wrote majority of that, but I think the go to war for the dick like I'm Mulan, I actually freestyled that first, and it ended up being the last bar. But yeah, I don't know. Mulan was like one of my favorite movies. I don't know. I was just like thinking of funny shit. It was COVID, I think, during that time. And I was in Tampa, and I was kind of bored because there was much to do. And I was just entertaining myself, to be honest. Like, I sometimes just like writing funny shit because I'm going to laugh at it. It's like, people don't laugh together, but shout out to Mulan. Shout out to Disney.
I bring it back like told a second wearing from the keep that I'm back to bad habits. I've been living loud and I know they mad at it.
I want to talk about like the overall vision that you had for Nostalgia is Dead. It dropped last summer, I think in July, right? Yeah. Talk about the vision that you have for that, how it was presented, everything from the cover art, who shot it, because I really loved the overall aesthetic of that. And I just want to hear from you how that all came to life.
Yeah, Nostalgia is Dead is an idea I had. Like, that title came to me years ago, actually. So I've been wanting to make a project under that title for a long time. And to me, it was really about like leaving the past in the past and like growing from it and learning from it and moving forward, rather than like beating yourself up or wishing you could go back. Cause I've struggled with that. You know what I'm saying? There's like moments I'm like, damn, I wish I could have done this better. I wish I communicated this like this. So it was really personal to me, actually. So once I started making songs for her, we made a lot of songs for her. I think we made about like 20-25 songs that it came down to those 9. But yeah, I wanted to make it very personal, but I wanted it to have a nostalgic feel, but also, of course, it's called Nostalgia is Dead. So I wanted to have that a little futurism in it as well. Be like, you know, like, let's make something new. Let's make something refreshing. My best friend, Kanzi, did the cover. She's a designer. So I wanted it to be like an R&B cover. I wanted it to be like an old school, like vinyl. I used to see like vinyls at my granddad's house a lot growing up. He collected them, and I wanted it to be like one of those, like an old school, like a singer, you know what I mean? Like, right, so right. That was the idea with that. And I had the whole vision of like rising from the flames, like the Phoenix. So if you go to Spotify, like the moving artwork, the canvas is like, I'm on a Phoenix. I had an artist, really dope artist. I forget her name, unfortunately, but she did like a 3D sculpture of me. It's like she made an actual clay sculpture. Like, that's an actual clay sculpture. And then she just added motion behind it. So it was super dope. I love art, man. I just like really like art. So
that's very interesting. Because I was looking at that actually last night. I was listening to some of your tunes, and I saw that, and I know that there's a lot of ways to create like 3D assets, whether it's in like, you know, Illustrator or whatever. So what you're saying is she actually created like an actual clay version of you on a Phoenix?
Yeah, by hand, like the outfit and everything, which is nuts to me. Like, cause like my outfit on that cover is like a little intricate pattern, and she did all of that by hand. She showed it to me, and then she put it behind like a moving motion screen, but the actual art is of me, and the Phoenix is clay. So
Oh,
I
that's
thought,
awesome. And you know, I love art too because art inspires like art reaches like its full purpose when it inspires other art,
yes,
whether it's a drawing or a show you watch or a cool movie or the way something's filmed or whatever, like it's inspiring and it's like it's very interesting to see how intricate some of these artists really get down to work.
yeah,
So were you talk about like how hands-on you are? Do you just kind of draw a little picture and say like, hey, like this is kind of what I want?
yeah. I'm really hands on. Like, really from every idea. Usually, like I have a journal. I'll like draw things, or I'll just conceptualize things. And so when I go to the creator who's gonna help me with it, like I'm very like, hey, this is the vision. Now, how can we? And that was her. Like, the claymation artist. I saw some of her work already, so I was like, okay, she does claymation. I think that's really dope. And I told her I wanted to be on top of a phoenix, and I wanted it to like I told her all these things. Like the flames, how I wanted it, and she was like, "All right, I can do it." So yeah, I'm pretty hands on with things. I have like visions of like basically everything, and then I just write them down.
I really like the creative direction of the Real Good music video. Talk about who you made that with, like who shot it, like what the treatment was that you wrote for that video. Talk about the overall vibe that you wanted to create with that one.
Yeah, I wanted it to be fun and colorful. I usually pick colors. I'm giving y'all the sauce. I usually pick colors that I want to work with. So blue was a thing of real good. So from the artwork to the video, I like to keep like color theory and certain color theories. So it was blue, it was white as well. I wanted to keep it fun, kind of summery, springy vibe. And I wrote the treatment, and the treatment is surrounding like I went to therapy, like real good. That whole song, I was being ironic because that time in my life shit was not real good, like at all. So I said it to try to make it real good,
Mm.
to feel real good. And I was in therapy at the time too, so you can see in that video like I play my therapist and I play myself. But that was the whole concept of that. It was shot by my friend GQ. We live in LA. And it was pretty simple. We did it in like 10 hours. Um, it was a really great shoot. It went really smooth. But yeah, it was just me and GQ. I wrote the treatment, and then he was like, cool, we can do it like this. We can shoot it like this. And yeah, we were up and at it.
So you touched upon like how you were in the video, you were playing your therapist, and it was kind of um like inspired by what was going on in your actual life, but in a very ironic way. And a lot of artists, I feel, sometimes are going through it behind the scenes, but the song that they make maybe about it sounds fun. But
Yeah.
you know, I've talked to artists, they're like, yeah, that's a fun song you may work out to, but I was, you know, going through like, that's a sad song, you know. So touch on as much as you want to, because I know it's personal information. And for myself, like I always like touching on this topic because of like mental health, because a lot more people struggle with it than you think, you know, myself included. And so talk about like what you were kind of going through as far as like getting comfortable enough to go to therapy and talk about some things that may have held you back from being your true self.
Yeah, yeah. I just, there was just like some issues I was dealing with that I just was like, you know what? I'm open to get help with this, and I just don't know how to navigate it. And like, I don't know, that honesty you have with yourself is really important. And it's okay to not know. I wasn't given those tools to know how to navigate this. So I just want some extra help. And it was pretty simple as that. Real Good was also made during like COVID era. And like, I don't know, man, COVID was just like crazy because at first it was kind of fun. It's like the world,
Yeah.
me at least, it was like kind of fun. The world shut down. Like, this is dope. I'm at home just making music or like with my friends in the house. But then it just I hit that wall of like, oh shit, like, what am I even doing in this world? I like had an existential crisis a bit. And so Real Good was like at the end of that, of being like, nah, like everything is real good. It's fine. Everything's good. And so that's how I wrote that song. And I just wanted to keep it like that. But yeah, it came from like a little darker place of me just like trying to figure things out and learn how to navigate. And that can be intimidating as well and can be, you know, a little hard. So I was just going through the motions. That's how Nostalgia is Dead really came about, was that expressing all of those parts of that journey, of like the healing journey, and like being intimidated about things that you don't know, that you're learning about yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, like the fear of what if, or you know, the anxiety of like, oh, what's going to happen if I don't do this, or did I make this right choice? I could
Yeah.
definitely resonate with that. And sometimes, as far as, you know, a song like Real Good, like sometimes that could be a little bit of a creative relief. You know, you got the song out and like, okay, that chapter of my life's done. I've taken care of it. And as an artist, you present that. And another question I really wanted to touch on from Real Good was the little cameo from your boy Blue's Clues.
I got right here.
Yes. So I had this question already before we got on this call, and I was like, oh, I was watching Real Good, and I was like, she's carrying Blue's Clues in the music video. And I was wondering if you brought that as a prop, but now, you know, you answered my question. You probably did bring it. So what's your connection with Blue's Clues and all that jazz?
Honestly, it went back to my therapy. Some of the work I was doing was like reconnecting with your childhood self and reparenting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's funny, we were just talking about like Nickelodeon and stuff, but when I was little, I would watch Blue's Clues a lot. And then of course it's blue, so like it went with the color theory,
right?
So like, I don't know, it was that lightning strike, it just hit me, and I was like, oh, this fits the video. And like I carried it around. Like my therapist used to encourage me to like do things that I liked as a kid, or like get stuffed animals or things that like you couldn't get as a kid. So that's the role that Blue played in it. So yeah, in the video, like I'm like, actually my whole thing was like, my character is going to be kind of like, I'm wilding out, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing all these things. It was like a flex, like my ego, like, oh, like everything's good, man. Like, look at my life. I'm fucking fire. I'm da-da-da-da, but I'm carrying around this because like this kind of represented, you know what I mean, like my childhood self, and trying to like heal that. So yeah, it just kind of, it worked out.
Yes, it 100% did. And I love what you said there about reparenting yourself and kind of coming to terms with your childhood self and like loving that version of yourself. Like whatever you're doing now for the success of your career is for, you know, that little boy or little girl way back when, which is really important to reconnect with, because just on a personal level, like life sucks sometimes and we kind of forget those little intricacies of life that help us kind of get through. Sometimes you could just like think of, you know, a happy memory from when you're like 10 years old, and that could just like fix your day. And sometimes like rewiring your brain could really help out. So thank you for sharing that. And I just think I admire you for just being very vulnerable as an artist too, like including that in your videos as well.
Let me love me on all occasions, okay? Crystal around my neck, no luck. Real good. Whipping up the check like I cut. Real good.
So as far as like the team that you know, helps you out and helps get Cherele out there even more, talk about your team, how you know, maybe met like, you know, a manager or these graphic designers. Like how did that all come together over time for you as an up and coming artist?
Most of everything is my friends, to be honest. I have my own independent label as of late, so I put everything under there. But I have a very, very small team. I have a manager, Keem, for the past year and a half now, but that's pretty new. I actually didn't have a manager for a while. I was just doing business by myself, opportunities handling and stuff like that. And as far as creative direction and stuff like that, like I said, I'll conceptualize things, but like Kanji has helped me a bunch. That's just my best friend. Peter's been helping me a bunch. That's my producer. I've known, that's another my best friend. So it just kind of kept it in-house, to be honest. And then if I outsource, I'll just be browsing on stuff and looking. And if I'm a fan of something, I'll just reach out to somebody and be like, hey, can you conceptualize this? But yeah, it's just been us, man, for a little bit.
I love to hear when artists just bring all their friends with them, because those are the people that you trust. Those are the people that know you the most. And those are the
Yeah.
people who have, your best intentions in mind, because there's a lot of people who, want to be an opportunist and not have your, best intentions in mind. And also, I'd like to say, like, salute to you for maneuvering the music space without a manager before you had a manager, because I think as an up and coming artist, it's very valuable and important to learn like all the things you need to do to release a song, get marketing behind it, push it a little bit, stuff like that. Reaching out to blogs, whatever. I
Yeah.
think knowing all of that is very valuable. So when you like first started releasing music, like you've been releasing music, I see, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify, for at least what, 6 years?
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
So was there a little bit of like a hump that you had to get over to, learn all these things? Did you kind of hold yourself back sometimes, like have any doubts? What was that mental process like for you?
Yeah, there's definitely a hump. It was definitely a little intimidating at first, because the music industry is kind of the wild wild west. There's not like an HR department. There's not like set rules of what you should do or how you should handle situations. And especially once you start getting bigger and bigger and you're moving up and having meetings with people that are like very big, it can be intimidating. I think the best, learner is just to do it, just to be in the field and learn from your mistakes and be like, okay, yeah, and not beat yourself up about those mistakes or something like, oh man, I could have got more money out of this, or like I should have handled it like this. And it's just you're learning. That's the school. It's just action in the music industry, in my opinion. And I've had some really good people around me as well that have been in the music industry that helped me. I'm like, hey, I have no idea what this is, or like they're like, you should get a lawyer for this. I'm like, cool. So and they're all my friends, though. That's the thing. So luckily, I've just been blessed with people that can help me in the field, but as well as like behind the scenes of business. And I can call them and have like a little bit of mentorship with them, and they're like, hey, I would handle it like this, and this is how you do it. So yeah, it was intimidating at first, for sure. But then once you get, then you get a little more confidence. There was this like Kobe interview, and he was like, confidence comes from practice and, being prepared. And like, I always think of that. So it's like, the more you do something, the more confident you'll become in it. And that's to me with business, but music industry is insane. Like there'll be situations you don't even know how to handle. My biggest one was like Rolling Loud. Like when I did Rolling Loud, I didn't have a manager. I had a manager at Rolling Loud, but to get to Rolling Loud, I didn't have a manager. So that whole festival was booked by me. And there was a lot I didn't know about as far as big festivals and paperwork and like all that stuff, and we were just all learning. Like my manager Keem just came for that ride, and we were just like, holy shit. But because usually labels and like all of their teams are handling that, and it's just like 4 of us, and we're like, scrambling on our phones, research this, call this person, ask them like, what is this, and we got it done, and it was fun. But like I said, it was a learning curve for me. I wasn't sure, and we got it handled. But it's just from experience, man. You just gotta keep going.
So I wanted to talk about Rolling Loud because I saw you perform there last year. And you said, you just said that it was a different space for you to maneuver, but you guys did. So like, I want to hear like about all the details about how it came to life. Like who you reached out to as far as like getting in the lineup, and like what paperwork, like what were some things you ran into where you're just like, fuck, I just want to go perform, man. Like,
No, like, well, I have been coming up in Florida before, so I actually went on tour with Tarek and a few artists. Tarek is one of the founders of Rolling Loud. Some years before, I actually performed at the first Rolling Loud ever, when it was just like up and coming. So
sick.
Yeah, so I already had relationships with these people. And the music industry, to me, or any industry, just about relationships as well, and keeping good relationships, doing good business. So they already knew who I was. They were already a fan. They had already booked me. And I literally just asked Tarek, I was like, yo, I want to get on this one. And he was like, cool, got you. And I got booked. Like it wasn't, yeah. So with that said, it was pretty smooth. And then like when we got to Rolling Loud, there was just a lot of things I didn't know you know, it was intense. It was fun. It was a fun learning experience, but it was just like, yeah, like you're dealing with city of Miami now. And like, you have to like, you can't put gunshots in your set. You can't do this. You can't, you know, you got to sign off here. Do you have insurance for the stage? Do you have this, that? It's always a lot of paperwork we got to go through. And, you know, usually artists don't really deal with that. Usually their team deals, but I like to be hands-on because I want to know what's going on. I want to know how processes go because I think that's fun too. You know, like being on that level, it's really cool to see how smooth the train runs at that level. Like they were, because I've seen them since, you know, we were up and coming. Their first Rolling Loud to the one I did was like completely different experience. Their first one was, you know, it was definitely big, but it wasn't like the last one. That shit was like, this is awesome. I'm proud of everybody. It's just so cool to see.
That's very interesting that you knew them, like, you know, coming up on the ranks too. You know, that's a relationship that I bet you you know, strengthen with them regardless of if you would have the opportunity of performing. You know, it's just like important to support like other creatives or just see how that animal or that machine works. Like I
So cool
was
to me.
it's nuts. It's nuts. I did in college, I went to Stony Brook University in Long Island, and I was in charge of like the college shows, and that was like one of the first times where I was like, oh my gosh, like these people can get free food in their dressing room. Like they have a rider, like
Yeah.
like 21 Savage wants 8 styrofoam cups and we have to buy them, like that kind of thing.
No, it's cool to me. Like I used to throw events in Miami too. I lived in Miami for a little bit. So I used to
Okay.
throw and shows, like I booked Playboy Cardi, like I've done things, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I like to have my hands in a lot of different things, not just as an artist, but behind the scenes. So that type of stuff is really interesting to me. So I have fun. I have fun, but it's a different beast once you're on that level, you know?
Right. And a lot of you said I've done things, and like a lot of these things that we do that make us who we are, like we kind of forget about. And you know,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool that you came up in the ranks of doing shows. So how did you get involved with that? Was that before you made music? What was that like for you?
No, I was when I made music. I just wanted to do it. I don't know. There's certain things. I'm an overall creative, like, period. You know, I'm also an artist, but like I like business. I like music business as well. And yeah, in my hometown, I was a part of Collective when we used to throw our own shows because Fort Meyers is a small town. So we would just like book our own venues and sell them out and stuff like that. So when I moved to Miami, it was just like an easy transition of like, I want to help other artists as well. And I have a bunch of talented friends in the industry, and I just started doing it to be honest. But that's how I met a lot of people when I moved to Miami. And that scene was like I was doing shows, I was performing shows as well. So it's just like something I'm interested in. Not more so right now. Like I stopped doing shows because those can be a lot. I know you've done events as well, but it helped me run my own events and stuff like that, you know, for myself, for Cherele, my brand and stuff like that. So I don't know. I like to dabble in a lot of things and see different like perspectives of the process of everything. You know what I'm saying? I've shot music videos for people. I've done like photo shoots. Like I'm like, yo, I just feel like doing this and I'll just do it.
Mo Rookies filming food, just get it out the dirt. Paul Uzi call it duty, he gon' make it squirt.
You said you opened up for Doja Cat in
Yeah.
2018. So I want to hear all about how you opened up for Doja Cat. Was it manager Cherele that got that opportunity? What was that opportunity like for you? How fun was that? And did you get a chance to connect with it?
Yeah, no, it was a great opportunity. One of my favorite shows, honestly, that I've ever done. I was in Atlanta scene, you know, just coming up and putting out music, and people hit you up and they're like, hey, I think you would be really good for this. And at the time, Doja wasn't the mega superstar that we know today, but in my eyes, she was already huge because I had followed her for a minute from like Tumblr days and stuff like that.
Oh
So
wow.
I was like, oh damn, this is crazy. Like hell yeah. And great show, great experience, dope girl. I'm still a fan of Doja, big fan of Doja. One of my favorite like writers, period. And seeing her live was really dope too. Like she inspired me that day because her live show was like amazing. And it was Yeah, it was still a pretty big venue, but it's not like her stadium status. But in that big venue, I knew where like she was headed. I was like, oh, this shit's kind of crazy.
So talk a little bit about performing, like on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you love performing? Like what's that process like for you, and how do you bring that energy on stage?
Man, I love performing. Like that's one of my favorite things ever. I love to meet people. I'm pretty much a people person. I love to meet people. I love to feel people's energy. And there's nothing like better than that feeling of like expressing yourself in front of people and like they get it and you're sharing that moment with them. That's like one of my favorite parts of making music, honestly, is performing. So I'm always having fun. Every time I'm performing, I'm having like fun. It's fun for me.
So you said you really like to meet people and maybe connect with your fans at shows.
Yeah.
What do you have like a particular like story that really stuck with you, or a memory from a show with a fan that you'd like to share, or maybe something fucking weird happened while you're performing? Like, I don't know. Like, I want to hear it all.
Um, I would say one of the moments that like touched me, I performed I think it was in Atlanta at aisle 5. And afterwards, this girl pulled up. Like I was outside talking to people, and this girl pulled up in her car, like rolled down her window and was like near tears and was just like, just praising me and giving me love. And just like, she was like, I was singing all the lyrics. Like she was like super stoked about it. And I was like, damn, that was really fire. Weird experiences, I don't know, man. I'm sure they're there. I just can't remember them because like the thing with performing, like you just have to, the show goes on, like Beyonce, like I don't care if I fall, like we still going with it. So there's
Right.
definitely been weird moments and you just got to ignore them, whether they're the crowd or somebody on stage spilled something. I've had people spill stuff on stage like, ah, shit. Yeah, but you just got to keep going. Even at my Rolling Loud performance, my last one, our sound got messed up, right? So I'm like on song 2 or 3 or something, and our something happened to the sound. Like it just completely cut like my instrument, my instrumentation, and I just kept rapping. Nobody knew but like us, but I just had to. You got to keep going. And that was like a moment I was like rapping, and then I kind of looked back like, yo, like, are we good? So you kind of never know. You can practice and rehearse all you like, but when you up there's things that can happen, especially technical difficulties and stuff like that, or like people acting wild, and you just gotta like, my whole thing is like, don't stop. You got never stop. You just gotta
Right.
keep going. Yeah.
I like the whole show goes on mentality, because you have to have that. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to run into some problem while you're
Definitely.
performing too, as well. Like that's the difficult part. So I also saw on your Instagram that you had an unreleased track teased on a Tyler Perry show on BET.
Yeah, yeah.
It's called Trance.
Yeah. Oh, you did your research. It's cool. Yeah.
Talk about how that kind of came to life, and like what the plans are for that song. Because I went to go look at your music after. I don't think that song's out, right?
Nah, it will never see the light of day. That was
Really?
yeah, nah, that was yeah, Trance is on Tyler Perry's Sisters, and it's also on My Celebrity Wedding. Um yeah, and I got a couple tracks on HBO's Insecure as well. Those are out. But
Congrats. That's a very popular show. I
yeah,
love that show.
I got season 1 is Visions, my song Visions, and then season HBO's Insecure season 3 is called Meet Me Outside, which is produced by myself. But as far as Trance, that's not coming out. That was like some unreleased stuff that I sent them and they used, but I don't know. I didn't really vibe with it, but they vibe with it. And I was like, okay, that's cool. You can have it, but I don't think I'll like actually ever release it. It's like a vaulted thing. But if you want to go watch the show, you can hear it.
What episode is it in?
Sisters, I would have to see again. It's on my IG. But I have the title of the episode on there. But yeah, you can hear it. You can hear it in those shows.
Yeah, I'll go give that a watch. I did want to hear it. So, as far as a lot of these songs that you get synced in shows or movies, are most of them unreleased, or is it kind of a mix of both?
It's a mix of both right now. Yeah, Insecure, anything on Insecure has been released. Um, right now there are some things that are unreleased, and then there are some things that are pending that I can't really say. But usually when it comes to syncing, you just have to see what the music supervisor likes, and whatever they like, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm not sure, because I'll just give them my vault. I'll just give them like so much stuff, and then they'll be like, okay, this will work. And sometimes I don't like it. Like there's some things I'm like, every artist has a vault that there's like things they don't like, right? So sometimes I'm like, damn, you really want that? Okay, cool. But like it's not something I want to like put steam behind. I don't feel like marketing that. And that was the case with trance. I was just a little different from what I'm used to, you know what I'm saying? I just, I'm a writer, so sometimes I can make any type of song. And it was one of those that was like kind of like left field for me. So, but yeah, it usually just depends what they pick. And then I'll be like, oh, well, actually, this is coming on my new project, or this is actually going to be out. Or then sometimes it's just like, y'all got it.
That's cool. That's a cool process. So how many songs would you say that you have just sitting in your secret vault?
Oh, man. Hundreds, 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 hundreds. Like,
and probably what, half of those might come out, maybe.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to be better about that, to be honest, because like, I don't know, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit sometimes. And yeah, my team's always like, nah, we should drop this. We should drop this. We should drop this. But yeah, sometimes you just like create, and then go back and be like, I can do better. That's at least me. I'm just like, I like this better. And then you got a vault of like, I don't know, I got like, I think like 600 songs or something like that. 600.
Oh my gosh, holy crap, that's crazy. I mean, so talk about that a little bit. I mean, that's something that a lot of artists, I'm sure, run into, is like just the constant process of recording, right? And us as creatives, we could kind of be a little protective, or sometimes a little too harsh on ourselves when you have those songs, or maybe work or whatever. So is it important for you to surround yourself with people who kind of check you when you're
Yes.
too protective over your art?
Absolutely, because you leave it I don't know what would come out sometimes. Like you definitely have to have people around you that are like not yes men and like aren't afraid. I mean, luckily I have friends, so they kind of already know how I am. They're like,
Right.
oh, she's gonna hoard that shit. You don't hoard it, or don't wait.
That's what they say. Don't hoard it.
Yeah, don't hoard it. Like, don't wait too long. Like, it's good for me. But yeah, my natural personality, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm always thinking I can make a better song. I think that's good. But sometimes I'll leave the songs that I think aren't as good in the vault when like fans would go crazy for it. So that's where like my friends or my manager would step in and be like, I actually really love this. But you listen to your own music so much sometimes, at least for me, that I'm like, no, I can do better. And it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse.
What are some goals for your brand and music within the next year?
That's a really great question. Honestly, it's to continue to build up like my label. I really don't even call it a label. I really call it a creative agency, because like I said, I'm into a lot of different things, and putting legs under these different parts of Cherele that maybe not everybody is familiar with. I did start that with like Left on Red, like certain things like that. So there'll be another season of that, evolving into fashion, evolving into helping other brands and bigger brands, create and have ideas as well. So just building as of late, to be real, like my own world of creativity, and to continue to power that, and hire people as well, hire people in different fields to help me spread that vision. But also there's going to be a lot more new music. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about the music aspect of everything too. It's coming very, very soon. It's coming very soon. We're just finishing like a couple things. So that's all I'm gonna say.
I like that. We'll keep it at that. We'll keep it at that. A couple. So everyone watching at home, they're working on a couple things. I love it. Yeah. I love it. So last question I have for you is, what are some like, do you have like any up and coming, whether it's performances or like things to kind of tease coming up? Like, is there anything that you'd like to mention to our viewers at home?
It's the project, to be honest. Like, just the way it's gonna come out, I'm excited about the whole rollout. The whole experience of it is gonna be fire. So that's, I don't want to say the title, so I'm not gonna say the title, but like it will be revealed. Everything will be revealed like really soon.
All right, you heard it here first. I'm looking forward to it. Cherele, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it. To everyone at home, go check out Nostalgia's Dead. It's a great album. It's a fun album. Maybe you want to go dance like an idiot or drive down the highway and with your windows down, whatever you want to do, go bump some Cherele. I'm your host, AT Bianco. Cherele, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure talking to you for real.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.